In today's metal mixing tutorial, I'm going to show you a really quick trick to get your drums to sound absolutely massive. If you're finding that your modern metal drums sound okay at best, but when you listen to bands like Knock Loose and they don't come anywhere near that, this trick's gonna help you. What I find from recording actual drums is not only making sure that they're in tune, but the key characteristics are really coming from your overhead mics and your room mics. So this entire sound is really coming from our room mic and what we're gonna do to it. So real quick, this is what the room sounds like with all my plugins on it. Just a devil lock and an SSL just kind of shaping the room a little bit, getting rid of some mud. This is what it sounds like without. So what I like to do with my program drums, and this is where program drums take a big win over actual live kit drums, we can dial it in so that we have very little cymbals coming out of the room, so that's really just snare. I could get rid of the cymbals completely, but to keep it a little bit more real, we do have to keep some of the cymbals in there. So this allows me to really distort it. And you can hear the cymbals still come out a lot anyways. So for this technique, all we need is a compressor. I'm just gonna use the stock Ableton one because I really like it for this. All we have to do, if you're on Ableton, you press this arrow, and then we go to sidechain, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna sidechain the snare drum to our room mics. And this is gonna do the opposite of what I did in this video up here. Basically, every time the snare drum goes off, we're gonna duck the volume of the room mic, and that will allow for the transient of the snare to actually happen. Once the transient of the close mic of the snare happens, then the room mic will come in. I like to go all the way with the ratio. I'm gonna start all the way as quick as it can. What you'll notice is that since the room mic, there's usually a bit of a delay since it's further from the source than the actual close mic, the attack you usually have to play with to get it right, otherwise it's going to compress before the snare even happens. Let's go really slow with the attack and then we'll dial it in to make sure that we're compressing right when the snare happens. As you can hear there, it's not doing anything because it's affecting a second after the snare happens. Same here. Getting closer. That's better. 139. And then we can play with the release. That sounds good to me. Now let's put it in the mix. So now I'm just going to compare having the compressor on and not having the compressor on, and what you'll notice is that when the compressor is on, we're going to hear the transient of the snare a lot more. You're going to hear that it's louder when I turn the compressor off, but you're also losing the transient a lot more. I personally would say you're going to want to care about the transient, because then you're just going to get lost, and when you listen in other sources, it might sound good in your room. When you listen elsewhere, you're going to be like, where did my snare go? Now really that's louder than it should be. And initially you might kind of prefer the way it sounds without the compressor because it is louder. Volume often tricks us. You're gonna find that your snare completely disappears when you listen in other sources and you might get tricked in the moment. Trust me when I say this trick has saved my mixing ass many times. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful in any way, let me know down in the comments or subscribe if you're not, and appreciate it so much. See you next time. See ya.